Hey, shalom, y'all. Capitán, ¿me escucha?
Y ahora sí, shalom, que estaba yo muted.
Perfecto,
Okay.
perfecto.
Okay. So, entonces, tenemos que hablar del hermanito Ever López, ¿verdad? Porque se graduó, ¿verdad? Y todo su esfuerzo. Y el pendejo blanquito no le queda dar el diploma porque llevaba una bandera mexicana. En deber de mirar a ese hermanito como alguien que pudo progresar en el sistema académico de los Estados Unidos hasta el punto que llegó a su año fin en la escuela superior para graduarse. Y mira cómo salió, que se va a recordar para el resto de su vida la controversia que tuvo que él sufrir en su graduación. Simplemente porque supuestamente había regla, ¿verdad? Había regla que no se podía tener nada encima de vestimiento de graduación.
Claro, claro, señor. So, es cierto, es cierto. Estamos viendo que los Estados Unidos, una vez más, como anteriormente, this is not new to us. Esto debería de ser una cosa that we should all know, that if you know your Mexican, and I'm going to say Chicano history because, you know, I reference Chicano history. If you know your Mexican Chicano history, this that happened to this young man is not new to us. We have always had an issue in the public schools in America because they don't want us to be Mexican. From the very beginning, their idea of a perfect American is someone who abides to all culture that is American. And us Mexicans, Chicanos, Latinos, we love our culture. We love our Mexican heritage, our Salvadoreño, Guatemalteco, Central American history, Puerto Rican history. We love our people, and we are always gonna uphold our nationality. Even though we're American, we still have that second thought in our minds that we're Mexican. And señor, I don't know how you grew up, pero yo cuando estaba creciendo en Los Ángeles, en una temporada o en un tiempo había cuando la gente mexicana, second generation, no querían hablar español, no querían ser reconocidos como mexicanos, negaban su nacionalidad en las escuelas. Oh, I'm not Mexican, I'm a Mexican American, ¿verdad? Y una de las razones que estábamos así era porque fuimos forzados, primera generación, a no hablar español, porque sabíamos el problema que había para nuestros hijos en las escuelas. Y nosotros mismos, los padres mexicanos, les decíamos a nuestros hijos, no hables español, speak English, for you don't have to go through the hate and racism in your schools. So, entonces nosotros como padres, en error, les dijimos a nuestros hijos, habla nomás inglés. Y nuestros hijos crecieron amando la cultura americana. Y aquí está lo que está pasando. Generaciones después, de todos modos nos odian. They still hate us. Generations after we were already discriminated on for this same purpose in our schools. What were the walkouts about? The walkouts, sir, were because they were hating us in schools because we were Mexicans. The reason the Chicano movement even started was because they were hating our people for being Mexican, just the way they hated our black brothers for being black. You know what I'm saying, sir?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And to answer that question about in the Puerto Rican household, okay, if there were any Puerto Ricans who would tell their kids not to speak Spanish, yes, that did happen. That is true. Eso siempre ha pasado. It wasn't just limited to Mexicans. Right now, you even have Central Americans who tell their kids, you know, to talk English, you know what I'm saying? And me, myself, because of the customs in our culture, you know, the Latino culture, we try to keep the Spanish tongue going, to tell you the truth. We try
Absolutely.
to keep it going. You know, I know aquí in this area, there's a lot of muchos El Salvadoreños that live up in this area, but okay, you have Mexicans too, right? And I know a lot of Latinos try to keep that Spanish tongue. Pero we should never forget as well que hablando de español viene del conquistador. So inglés o español viene de alguien que nos oprimió o que sigue oprimiéndonos. ¿Entiende? Lindo sería que nosotros pudiéramos hablar nuestro lenguaje natal. You know, muchos de nosotros que somos de descendencia taína no hablamos nuestro idioma. Y la idioma que dice que es taína hoy en día, cuando uno hace la búsqueda, encuentra que es la que la idioma está aguada, you know, it's watered down, it's not what it was. Y si buscamos más fuerte, ¿verdad? Ese lenguaje taína y como muchas del lenguaje indígena era hebreo. ¿Sabes? Y es porque eso fue la primera idioma que se habló acá en el Nuevo Mundo, antes del Colón. Aquí se hablaba hebreo. Después, con la dispersión del tiempo, pues, obviamente el lenguaje fue aguado, you know, se fue bastardizado, you know. Pero, sea como sea, español o inglés es un idioma de nuestros oprimidores. You know, la persona que lo conquistó. You know, we speak in Spanish now. Like you and I, we're in a precarious situation because we're a slave of two empires. You and I, we speak Spanish because of the Spanish Empire, right? And we speak English because of the English Empire, the American Empire. So you and I were in this kind of position that we double. And it's no knocking on knowing multiple tongues, you know what I'm saying? And no crime against it, but it's a reflection of who conquered us. You know what I'm saying? And you know what pisses me off though? That our oppressors wants us to remember, like it's like a mock. And I'm looking at it in this sense of with Ever Lopez, that young brother, right? He got to grow up. I graduated from high school, 12th grade, and usually when you go to that 12th grade and you graduated, your mindset is like, okay, so now what is the next step, right? And you got some kind of inspirations to take your life to the next step, because now you know you're in that adulthood stage, you know what I'm saying? You coming out of high school, so now what's next? You either have several choices. Either continue your education to become, I don't know, whatever in his case, if he wanted to become a doctor, a lawyer, you know, or if he wanted to take a vocation, you know, to become the best carpenter out there and make a name for himself, you know what I'm saying, the best chef, the best whatever that he could be. But he always got to look back and say, you know, this is what happened in my graduation. This principal, what was the principal's name? I don't know his name, but do you have a name?
Yeah,
I'm bringing the portion of the interview, and that devil's face, like he convinced that he was trying to stand on the rules and regulations, right? That they, you know, the cap and gown, right? According to what he was saying, is that you're not supposed to not wear anything under cap and gown, right? Now, did you read the rules and regulations? Was it posted?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, sir. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm looking for all the info right now.
Right. So you know, so that's what we need to know. Was it in, you know, like did they post the rules and regulations concerning the cap and gown in that school? Because I bet you, if there was any quote unquote pride members, right? You know what I mean, right? I'm gonna say straight up and down, gays, right? Lesbians and wore a rainbow color on any parts of their body, right? Including and not limited to their cap and gown. If had that been the case, do you think that they would have had the same situation?
No, not at all, sir. They would have appreciated that and shown love to him for that.
Right. And on top of that, that part is true, but also they would have known that if we say anything to the gay community, to the LGBT community, they'll feel the full force of the law. You know what I'm saying? They'll be looked at. It'll be looked at as a hate crime, right? Because they did not allow whichever member of the LGBT community to wear their colors. But meanwhile, Ever Lopez wanted to wear his colors, the colors of his culture, the color of his people, which is Mexico. That can't happen in the school in America. But that's reflective of the former administration in the White House, which is still reflective even in the Biden administration. You know what I'm saying? Biden is trying to play the good guy, right? But deep down inside, we know that Democrats is just as evil as Republicans. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. One hides his colors, the other one just wears it on his sleeve. Submission equals patriotism.
Con, absolutely.
Is what the brother Dennis in El Salvador said. It might be patriotism for it, the gringo, that's for sure. You know, absolutely. But with us, it's subjugation. That's what it really boils down to. You know what I'm saying? Sujetado a su imperio, a su manera de vida, ¿viste? Pero que nosotros no podemos ser nosotros, you know what I'm saying? Which is a slap to us because they're not the indigenous of this land. You know, that's the thing that if you got any mentality, tienes espíritu en ti, you gotta understand que estos primadores, they're not of the nativos of this land. It's us. We the nativos of this land. We were here. This is our land. You know what I'm saying? Even though our origins didn't start here, but guess what? There was nobody else here, so we were here first. And it became ours. Generation after generation. You know
absolutely.
So this became ours. We set up our own landmarks here. We set up our own boundaries here. And guess what? Our boundaries was respected among our brethren. Were there internal beefs? Sure. Siempre hay conflicto familiar. There's always been that. Pero there was always a way to resolve those things. Todo eso se fue when the oprimidor came. And now here we are, 2021, and the brother can't wear a flag that represents his culture. You know what I'm saying? His people. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to rock a flag that represented Orgullo Mexicana. Because that's all it was. You know what I'm saying? Like adding to the number, here's another Mexican that made it, that graduated, did this and that. El pendejo didn't even let the brother enjoy his graduation like that. Instead, he turned from a happy day to a nightmare.
God, you know, absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to add to that though. You know, there's always a flip to the coin. You know what I'm saying? Always a flip to the coin. He might have gone through a lot for his diploma, but you know, it's meant to be because it shows us how we're perceived in this country, how we're perceived in this place, how they see us. You know what I mean? Because if it had been an Asian, if it had been any other nation, you know, here in California, remember the Armenians were having their war out there in wherever they're from. You know, here in California, Armenians were driving around with big stickers on their vehicle that said "Armed Armenia," "Arm Armenia," and they had the word "Arm Armenia," and in between they had an AK-47, and no one said anything to them for driving, and not one car. But you would drive down the freeway and you would see these cars with this machine gun, AK-47, and the words "Arm Armenia" right behind it. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go beyond because I'm gonna show you, right? Because to them, they had no problem with that. You know what I mean? They didn't have no issue with that whole concept of "Arm Armenia." To them, it was, you know, they're supporting them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yet we wear a flag and it becomes a threat to this nation. It becomes a threat to these people. And let me tell you from experience, sir, I used to go to high school and junior high school. And in my junior high school years, I used to go to I don't know if you're familiar with the swap meets, but I used to go to the swap meets and I used to buy these sweaters. And I used to get, in my older days, right? Como andaba de, según yo, pandillero, I used to get the Virgin Mary, La Virgen de Guadalupe, and put it on the back of my sweater. And on top of it, I used to get in Old English velvet letters, my name Orozco, right on top. Right. That's my slave name, Orozco, on the top. And I used to go to school wearing the sweater. And I was caught various times by the teachers, the principal, and they used to tell me that I couldn't wear that at school, that was gang related, that was something that I couldn't wear on campus. And they suspended me for that. And they sent notices to my family for wearing these things. In my eyes, I'm looking at, this is some religious object that's on my back and my name on it. So how does it become offensive to these people? Well, it's very simple. It became offensive because I'm the only Mexican, or Mexicans are the only ones wearing these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? But they're going running around wearing all this other nonsense, and to them it's not a problem. But when we do something, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a problem because we're wearing it. You know, I was going to say for this young man, there's going to be two ways he's going to take it. He's going to take this as a stepping stone for the worst time of his life in high school, or he's going to take it as a stepping stone for the rise of his own people. You see what I'm saying? Right. This that happened to him, it could be a positive thing or it could become a negative thing. My daughter, you know, I myself in high school, throughout junior high school, I was in a class called Mecha, which is the Mexican American, you know, teachings of these classes. You know, that's what they taught, Mecha Club. And I always told my daughter, you know, join the Mecha. My son, join Mecha. Lahab, hey, join Mecha. My daughter always joined Mecha. And on one of these years, they had this issue with Hispanic people. And so what my daughter and her friends did from the Mecha Club is they walked out of class and they walked out of school on that day. They did this whole thing where they marched and walked out of school because of the ill treatment of Hispanic people. And so to her being suspended and her friends being suspended, it was something honorable for them. To her, it was honorable. Of course, you know me, I looked at her and I said, I'm glad you did that. Man, I'm with you 100%. Because they may think they're damaging us, but in truth, when you're Hispanic, Latino, Chicano, these things give us strength. These are the things that they do to us that show us exactly what we already knew, that they have a hatred for us. And then it shows us that all we're doing is not wrong. But on the contrary, it's proof that what we're doing is correct. That young man going up there and wearing that flag, he was correct. He did the right thing by doing that. He's violating their code, their dress code. Hell yeah, I'm violating your dress code because you violated my people for 500 years. So wearing a goddamn flag no es nada comparado a los 500 años that you did me wrong. The only thing is that this brother and his family are not in the UPK. This man and his family do not know Chicano Mexican history. So they don't respond in this way. If it had been one of my kids, sir, we would be up there raising hell and telling the white man that he's the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right. That's right. Man, I want to show you something.
Go ahead, sir.
Bring something up. Ahora mismo, give me a second, que lo voy a subir. Okay. This still runs deep in their mind. I'm gonna tell you straight up and down. I'm aumentarla para que la gente la vea. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna share it on the screen. Right. But you see this right here, right?
Oh, sir, absolutely.
That right there is deep in their minds. No dogs, no Negroes, no Mexicans. Because to them, we creatures. We creatures. We're a bunch of animals. They compared us to dogs. But you know the beautiful thing? Christ called them dogs.
Right.
In the scripture. You know what I'm saying? He called them the dogs. You know?
Absolutely, sir.
You know? It's amazing though. Like I seen the pictures of I don't know if there was a mother, the sister, other females que levantaron el voz en protesta of the actions. Did you find it that the regulations to that school's cap and gown regulation?
I have them here. Let me.
Yeah, see if you can see. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something, sir. What they're saying on the regulations are not clear. Like there is no place that says that they cannot wear a Mexican flag or any flag. Doesn't say that. It doesn't state that.
Does it say anything? If I could, does it say anything about wearing anything, whether it be a flag or not, on the cap and gown?
Sir, nothing like that. It doesn't state that. It doesn't state that. It just the regulations for dress code only states about gang attire.
Right.
That's gang attire, but it doesn't state anything else.
Y eso para que tú veas. Eso para que tú veas. So Mexican flag is gang attire. It's just that. No. That's what that principal was just trying to call that Everett Lopez. You a gang member. We ain't having those gang members. Nothing in the school. That's what it boiled down to. That's exactly what it boiled down to. But like I said, si hubiese sido una bandera arcoíris, ¿verdad? All the colors of the rainbow, y la letra LGBT, there'll be no protest. And I bet you, see, if you wouldn't went there with an American flag, there'll be no protest either. Pero como it's a Mexican flag, is gang related. You know? Meanwhile, the United States is the biggest gang on the earth. It's the biggest mafia on the earth. Second, I would dare say to the Catholic, the Roman Catholic Church.
Okay, so Salakia, sir, let me just read for I can emphasize on what we're talking about here, just to emphasize on what we're talking about, to make sure that we're clear about what me and you are talking about. So it says, this is an official.
Can I ask you a question? If you're looking on the screen, could you share the link so I can bring it up so that way everybody else can read it?
Okay, sir, let me.
Possible? If you could put some.
Let me get it real quick. I'm having a little bit of issues with the computer, but it's kind of slow for some reason.
Right.
But I'm trying to get it. Yeah, I'm getting a bad signal here, but I'm gonna try to get it. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. So all I did was I punched up dress code, right? For the graduation, and it came up. So if I can't get this thing to move as I need it to move, just for everybody can know, you can punch in dress code for graduation. And I'm going to try to show it, but I'm just going to go to it real quick. The official said this. He said, we checked with Mill Creek School District Superintendent McDowell's, right, graduation. He said there is no official graduation ceremony dress code. That's what he said. And then he goes on to say, we certainly expect our students to adhere to the decor of graduation ceremony that is not only celebratory, but also a special occasion. That's Dr. Ian Roberts, the superintendent. So they have no dress code.
What's the name of the school?
I'm trying to get it right now. Oh, here it goes. Okay, here we go. Now it's starting to move on. So you want to go on this, so let me turn this around. You see that?
I see the democracy now, right?
Okay, Erie News now, because that's a local. Yeah, that's a local news channel from that area.
Erie News now. Okay, hold on. I see it, the top one, right?
Yeah, con. So that's a local one from their area. So I try to find something that's local with them, and like I said, I don't know why, but as always, we're gonna have some issues with the computer, but we're not gonna go deep into that. But just looking at that, they're talking about that they don't have no dress code. There is nothing that's enforced, right? So they,
Right.
they're just doing that. That's just let's face it, that's a principle, and we know how principals are. That's a female principal from that area who's just being racist, straight up, sir, being racist against Hispanic people. But
North
should
Carolina,
we? Yeah, North Carolina, absolutely, North Carolina.
Hold on. I even went to the Mill Creek High School, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the graduation dress code, right here. I'm gonna bring it up if you don't mind.
Go ahead, sir.
So, it says cap should be placed on the head so that the mortarboard is level. The front of the cap is indicated on the inside of the crown. Caps are never worn on the back of the head. For graduation caps are worn parallel to the ground with the point in the center of the forehead. Cap should be held in place with bobby pins. At the beginning of the ceremony, tassels are positioned on the right. You are not allowed to decorate your cap at all. This includes cap toppers, no cell phones, right? But where did the brother wear his flag?
He draped it around his body like a cape.
Okay, so entonces, for gentlemen, right? It says wear a collared dress shirt, dress pants, a dark collared tie, and dress shoes or dark tennis shoes. Jeans are not allowed. Shorts are not allowed. Flip-flops, casual sandals, or light colored tennis shoes are not allowed, right? So then it says graduates are not allowed to have a cell phone during graduation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Please remember, parents and seniors, this is a formal ceremony, so seniors should be dressed in a way that expresses this occasion. The outline above follows the dress code, right? So, but okay, did we read anything about wearing anything?
No, there's nothing there. That's why he said there's nothing there for that.
Okay, so then, hold on. Let me go here. What they say, cap and gown dress code. I graduated. We did. Espérate, what I did. I work here. No. Wait. Cap and gown portraits. Let me see something. Espérate. These are pictures. But okay, we didn't read nothing.
Nothing, sir. Nothing. There's nothing there that.
Right.
There's nothing there, sir, that says that. Nothing at all.
So let's read what the females, right? Wear simply styled, lightweight dresses without high necklines. Dress collar should not show in the opening of the gown. Do not wear excessively full skirts. If your dress is longer than your graduation gown, use masking tape to temporarily hem the dress so it is no longer than your gown. No strapless dresses, no halter top or backless dresses, no spaghetti straps. Please follow the school dress code concerning this as well as dress skirt length. School dress codes apply, right? You may wear flat or dressy open-toed shoes. Color should be black, white, or brown. No other colors allowed. Flip-flops and casual sandals are not allowed. And there's nothing else. Nothing else, right? Nada. So then what's their beef?
What's their beef? They're these Mexican. That's the point.
That's it. There's no indication there. There's nothing about no gown. They told you about the cap, right? And they told you about the shoes. And they told you about the dresses. But nothing about the gown. What's the beef? He's Mexican, that's all. Porque Mexicano. And he wanted to rep his people. Nada más. Hey, what time you start your thing?
Oh, at 8 o'clock, sir.
Ya son las 8 entonces, ¿verdad?
7:03, señor.
Oh, okay, so you started at 8. Okay, chévere.
We got a little time left.
Yeah. I don't want to go above anything. So basically, that was it. Entonces, let's push on to talk about the other thing that you had mentioned the other day.
I want to mention, sir, what we're talking about right now about what happened to this young man, right? With this whole graduating thing, and how they're really just nitpicking because he's Hispanic. That's really the point. But let's look at in general, because in general we may look at this young man as because he's Mexican, that's why you're doing it. But how about that young kid that got shot by that Asian guy, right? Just yesterday. Did you hear about that?
No, bring it out.
Okay, so let me see. Let me get it real quick. So we got this incident where you got this young young black kid, 6 years old, sir, and an Asian guy not only tried to beat him down with a sledgehammer, but he shot him in the arm. And this has just happened. I'm gonna get him right now. Let me get that article real quick because I have it right here. And this is ridiculous because what happened is they let this guy out, right? They can let this guy out, and I'm gonna do better, sir.
What was this in Michigan?
Is it Michigan? I believe so.
Okay, I got an article here. A 6-year-old child.
Cancer.
Okay, yeah, let me share it then, para que la gente la vea entonces, vete.
And just for that this isn't only about Hispanics going through this, but in general, we're all going through this. You know what I'm saying, sir?
Right. So mira, aquí dice black Mexican boy shot in arm after retrieving bike from neighbor's yard. Neighbor arrested and released 3 days later. So entonces, in Ypsilanti Township, Michigan, a 6-year-old black child was shot in the arm by his neighbor, who reportedly was upset that the child's bicycle was in his front yard. The neighbor, an Asian man, first allegedly threatened the boy with a sledgehammer after he went
a little boy who walks free, making
Salakia, let me, because I got the video up if you want to see it. But go ahead and keep reading, sir. Go ahead, keep reading. Salakia.
The neighbor, an Asian man, first allegedly threatened the boy with a sledgehammer after he went to retrieve his bike. Then the man went inside his home and fired a shot through his front window, striking the child. The boy's father, understandably, wants to know why a man who could have killed his child and is charged with assault with intent to murder is free on bond after spending only 3 days in jail, right? So he says, as a father, I'm trying to figure out how he got a bond so low for trying to kill my kid. Arnold Daniel told Fox 2 Detroit, who shot his son Kobe by a 29-year-old Ryan Nguyen, right? I think those are they're the Vietnamese, right?
Vietnamese, absolutely. With a name like that, he's got to be Vietnamese.
Vietnamese, right? Nguyen, right? So hold on. I'm gonna stop it here, and that should infuriate people. Con esa mierda, ¿viste? Stop the Asian hate, pero que you're so good to shoot a child who was just a kid trying to get his bike. Say añito. Stop the Asian hate, man. Pena for the Asians. Meanwhile, the motherfucker get out in 3 fucking days.
Absolutely, sir.
Que mierda, stop the Asian hate, but hold on. Stop the Asian hate, but don't stop the black hate, and don't stop the Latino hate. Que mierda. So it's all gravy, it's all good. The hate on us, to kick us around like dogs, to do whatever the fuck you want to do with us, but to stop the Asian hate.
Ándale. So let me play the video to make you even more mad, sir. You ready to put me on for I can show the video?
Okay, pero un momentito, un brequecito.
Okay, ahí le va para hacerlo más enojarse. Ahí le va acá.
Just 3 days after this accused shooter shot a little boy, he walks free, making bond on Tuesday. It has this fan.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, se frizó. Hello? Hello? All right. Well, let me see if I pull up the video instead. I'm going to pull up the video. Oh, all right, people, just hold on. I'm going to give you all the video. Give me a second. Let me see what this is. Let me see if I can YouTube it. This is la mierda we got to deal with in this society, yo. Showing them, ¿qué pasa aquí? Let me see if we pull up the video. All right. Okay, Salakia.
I don't know how much you saw. I know we got logged off.
It froze up at the beginning. You froze up at the beginning.
Well, let me just say this, sir. The brother, right? The father, he's mad because this Asian guy shot his son, right? Of course, right. We're all mad. But I'm gonna tell you something. How bad we're destroyed. This black man is like, I'm mad because they shot my son. If that had been another black man, this black man would have gone to that door, knocked down the goddamn door, and shot at them. It would have been an all-out gunfight, fight, and everything if it had been black on black. But we got so much respect for these Asians and for these whites and all these other nations that we dare not say nothing to them. And he's sitting there feeling sorry, not understanding, in confusion of why anybody would do that to his son. If it had been another black man, he would have not been acting like that. If it had been a Mexican on Mexican, we'd not been acting like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's one way of That's one way of looking at it as well. But also, you got to into the consideration of like how this person was able to just basically get out in 3 days out of a low bond. Like had that been me doing that to an Asian, there would be no low bond, and the whole Asian community would have came out against me.
Absolutely.
What should have happened was the whole black community should have came out, especially the Black Lives Matter of folks should have came out and said something about this.
Absolutely.
So there's only a Black Lives Matter movement for when white people do something to black people. There's no Black Lives Movement for when another race does it to black people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to add to that, sir, and to add to that, could have been a black man who got a parking ticket and they'd arrest him. It would have been $20,000-$30,000 bail bond. If you'd have got caught doing something, it'd have been a $50,000 bail bond. If it would have been a black man who shot an Asian man, the cop would have gone down there and shot the black man instantly. They wouldn't have even hesitated to arrest him. They'd have seen him on site and shot him. So there's a lot of things. What I mentioned, what you mentioned, what we're mentioning now. This is how we're destroyed, like I said at the beginning, because we never take things to a point where we're really going to do something about what they're doing to us. You know what I mean? It seems like it's beyond us.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Mira. I got to show it to you, man. Here's a little boy, right? And then this is the Asian who shot the brother. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that this Asian was a young, was an old Asian. This was a young cat right here.
20-something years old.
Yeah, about 29 years old. Knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Hates black people. Because you could tell because he shot this kid. Because he's trying to get his bike. Like, really? I bet you that if the child if it was an Asian child, oh my gosh, every Asian from everywhere, there'd have been another Stop Asian movement. Stop Asian hate movement.
And you know what it is, sir? If you look at the kids that are playing out in the front yard, it's all black kids. So this Asian moved into a black community. And this is the outcome of him moving into black communities.
I mean, is there a photo there? Is there a picture there?
Well, if you look at the kids that are out there playing, you can see that they're all black kids. You can see they're running around there. So he had to move into somewhere where there's black kids living around that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So his hate is because he got black people living on his block.
Right.
Y son bien racistas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they ain't mad when they're doing. Hey, they ain't mad when they're doing our wives' nails, our sisters' nails. You know what I'm saying?
No, there's never no madness for that. You know.
Absolutely.
So long you keep coming to them. You know. Once again, this is why the ISUPK and the Command Junior Honda is important. Like, here's a good protest. Stop going to their salons. Stop going to their salons to get your nails done. Stop going to Oriental to the Chinese restaurants or something like that. Hurt them in their pockets for a little while. You know what I'm saying? And I've yet to see. I'm gonna check later on. I read it in TikTok if there's any Asians that said something against this other Asian. I read.
John.
You know?
Yeah. You know the Asian community should come up against him for doing what he did.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. I've seen videos when so-called Negroes do something wrong to, like there's a video where a so-called Negro, I don't know if it was a sister, I remember probably being a sister or a brother, flipped over a fruit stand from a Hispanic sister. There were other so-called Negro brothers and sisters coming up against the brother for doing that. And reminding brothers, yo, they stood with us in the Black Lives Movement. For you to come and do something stupid like that, I'm wondering if there's any Asians that would do it, that would say anything about that. You know what I'm saying? And they'll probably say after they probably see this video or something, or they heard more than likely Commander General Hunter bring something out to that nature, or one of the generals, because that definitely is coming.
Yeah, this is something that everybody should be looking at this. You know what I mean? Because to go out and shoot a child, sir, to shoot a child, that you know what? That's attempted murder right there. Yep. That's attempted murder. That's a firing a weapon in public. You know what I'm saying?
And he a coward too, because he went and go inside and shoot from inside at the child. Exactly. Like to do that means that he actually was conscious enough to say, "Yo, I'm going to kill this child." He wanted to get premeditated. That's to me. That's just not attempted, but that sounds like premeditation. Like he already had it in him to want to kill this child.
Absolutely. I mean, for they gave him a what? $10,000 bail, but yet you look at all the charges that can be brought up on that, man. And that's ridiculous.
He got a $10,000 bail, so he already had that money stacked. Like,
exactly.
Like he knew.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. It's $10,000, but when you go buy a bail bond, that was only $1,000 or $2,000. 10%. Yeah, 10%. He didn't have to go out and put $10,000 down. He got off with $1,000.
$1,000.
Man, that's ridiculous, sir. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Entonces, no. And here's the thing that you got, se tiene que mencionar, right? You got these oppressors. They be like, well, what are they complaining about? You know what I'm saying? What are they complaining about? This is why Black and Latinos and Native Americans keep complaining, because you keep doing the things and you allow. Anyway, this shouldn't be so surprising, because how many times we done heard Commander General Johanna say, right? Even recent, I believe I heard it was mentioned that the heathens are now going to start to ante it up just to keep our oppressor happy, to show they support what our oppressor want, and for them to be on the good side, right? To be into good graces with our oppressors, they must hate Israel.
Right.
That's what's going on. They are showing their hatred towards Israel. Now you see why Psalms 83 is so glorious. Now you see why in the scriptures it tells you that the nations, right, are going to pay, I'm paraphrasing, for what they've done to the children of Israel.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. And you know this that happened, it happened at a good time, because look, it happened to a Hispanic brother and it happened to a black brother. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Para ustedes pendejos, they don't think that the Latinos or the Native Indians are Israelites. Well, then explain this one right here. 2 children. Explain this here, huh? Explain it. It's a constant thing. Explain that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true, sir. Absolutely true. And that's why it's important that people start to realize that there is no line in between where we can come to terms. There is no terms for these people. They're always going to find a way to express their hate. And you know what? I'm going to say that's the Lord bringing that spirit onto these people, because our people don't want to recognize. Like, we refuse to recognize. So the Lord is bringing that spirit on our enemy to do that to us, for it can wake a few of us up, because the majority ain't going to wake up. The majority are going to stay in stupid. But us coming into the UPK, coming into this truth, we're going to wake up that spirit of understanding that this is happening to us. And this is the only way that we're going to recognize. Meanwhile, the Lord is going to keep pouring that spirit on these enemies, on these heathens, to continue doing that to us. Because, let's join hands. Let's be one. Let's get under the rainbow. All this nonsense is not fixing the problem against hate against Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
Wait, hold on. I got another one. Let's talk about this. Check out the headline. I'm going to bring it up. Since we're talking about children of Israel, little children of Israel, or what's happened to them, right? Check this one out. I just saw this one right now. Mira lo que dice the headlines. Check it out. Pack of wild animals. Police say Black boy chased down, stabbed to death on busy street by group of grown white men was subjected to racial slurs. And they say, and this is June 5th, right? On Tuesday, a detective with the West Midland Police in Central England announced amid growing community concerns. Now, let me see something. Hold on. What's the boy name? Yeah, okay. Dia John Reed. Okay, Israel, right? Okay, so now let me go back to the story, right? In Central England, announced amid growing community concerns that authorities are not excluding the possibility that the death of a 14-year-old black boy, may have been racially motivated, after initially saying that there was nothing to suggest the boy's death had anything to do with race. We are aware of many different rumors circulating about the motive of the murder, but we are keeping an open mind and pursuing all lines of inquiry. We ask people not to speculate on social media, Detective Chief Inspector Stu Marbley said in a statement issued Tuesday evening. On Monday, May 31st, a 14-year-old boy, now identified as Dear John Reed, was chased down by a group of people on College Road. He was stabbed in the chest on the busy road in King's Standing, North Birmingham. The teenager collapsed on the road and died at the scene. Right?
Wow.
And it continues saying, authorities believe that the boy was involved in a fight that broke out prior to the stabbing. Reed had reportedly been playing soccer before the clash. Marley also said that racial language directed at Reed was used before the murder was committed. As the investigation progressed, we now believe that there was an incident involving Dear John and his friends shortly before the murder that quickly escalated, resulting in Dear John's tragic death. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it there. Now this is in England. They ain't here in the States, but nonetheless, the brother was still Israel. 14 years old. This was the other day, right?
John.
That was the other day.
Yeah, this is recent news.
Yeah, absolutely. You know?
But esta gente, you know, they want to love their oppressor. They want to love the people that are killing them. You know what I mean? And leaving out the reality of what's happening to our people.
That's right. Ahora, I don't hear no marching now. I guess it wasn't that important, right?
Right.
You know, what about the leaders of black folks? You know, I'm talking about of Israelite descent in England. Where they at? Huh?
Right.
Where they at? Están durmiendo, ¿verdad? Eso es lo que pasa, que están durmiendo o metidos con algo que no deben estar metidos. You know, they're dealing with things that they ain't supposed to be involved in. Instead of pendiente of our people and the stuff that are happening, they're doing other things, progressing in their lives. When are we going to figure it out? We Israelites, we don't progress individually because individualism is not our thing. But the term is called what? Rugged individualism. Rugged individualism is a European thing. It's a Edomite thing. It's a Idumean thing. For us, it was always a communal situation. Community was very important. Como dice el refrán, ¿verdad? Se toma todo el vecindario para ayudar a criar a un hijo, ¿verdad? It takes the community to raise a child, a criar un niño. That's how it was back in the day. I didn't care if you was in the black neighborhood or the Puerto Rican neighborhood or Mexican neighborhood. Like if you knew people on your block back in the old days and everybody knew little Julio, I don't give a damn if Maria lived down the block. She knew your father and mother, right? And it could be Sandra across the street and it could be I don't know, Julia, you know what I'm saying? Juan, Tomás, they might have lived there. Everybody knew your parents. You knew their kids. They knew your kids. Everybody knew everybody's kids. And it took that whole community to raise up them children.
Absolutely.
Hoy en día, we got the rugged individualism mentality. Esos son los hijos tuyos, brega con la situación. Or as a whole, I'm just worrying about me. You know what I'm saying? I do me, like the brothers say, I do me, you do you. But doing me, you do you ain't working. Not in 2021. We need to come under Command General Hanna in the Israelite School University of Practical Knowledge, bro. Or else we're going to keep seeing more Ever Lopez. We're going to keep seeing what the little brother, the 6-year-old brother name, I forgot, in Detroit. or this brother, Dear John Reed, we're going to keep seeing more and more of that. It's going to keep going.
Con, absolutely, sir. That's why it's important that we see the signs that are in these times, and we recognize that this is the call for us to come together. Like me and you, sir, Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. Like, when the hell did we ever think we were going to come together on the same note, on the same subjects, on the same terms? And now here we go, we sit together every week and we talk about what they're doing to us, because before we were always talking about what you were doing to me, what I was doing to you, and we were going back and forth. Two Latino people who were against each other. Why? Because we were following the ways of our oppressors who taught us to come against each other. Divide and conquer is the name of the game. But now we recognize that we're not going to be divided no more. And this news that keeps coming out, these are jewels for us. Let them continue to do their nonsense. We're going to continue to bring out what has to be said about what they're doing to our people.
And let me say this, para ustedes latinos que would get a chance a ver este programa que nosotros we got here, the Spanglish Xperience, ¿viste? You'll get a chance to see si le importa, ¿viste? La mierda entre nosotros ya tiene que parar, because still to this day, you still have Mexicans who hate Puerto Ricans who hate Mexicans, Dominicans, hate Cubans and Puerto Ricans, all on and on. Latinos that hate Latinos. That gotta die. That gotta end ya. La mierda ya tiene que parar. Somos latinos, somos más sobre eso, somos los hijos de Israel. La mierda entre contra nuestros hermanos, los morenos, los haitianos, los jamaiquinos, that gotta die too, porque ellos son Israel también. Y sobre todo, it's important that we now look at each other with a brotherly mind versus the way our oppressors got us conquered and separate, que yo soy nicaragüense, el salvadoreño, que si yo soy mexicano. Fuck all that. We are Israelites. You know what I'm saying? We got to stand together, especially in the day and time que es hoy. You know what I'm saying? Porque si no, vamos a seguir en la misma. Siempre va a haber más casos de... We can't even leave our kids play, not even in your block, not even close to your house, because your neighbor who you thought was your neighbor, because that's what church taught you, right? So church taught you that the Chinese man was your neighbor, yet that Oriental Asian guy shot your kid.
Come on.
So where's the name? Love thy neighbor with that. The Asian didn't see love thy neighbor there.
Hell no.
There was no love thy neighbor right there.
And his mind was kill thy neighbor.
Yep. Murder thy little neighbor. Right there.
Kill thy neighbor.
You're absolutely right. Kill thy neighbor. And show hate to thy neighbors. You know?
Absolutely.
Kazak, vamos a continuar esto la semana que viene. This was good. I mean, I could keep pulling stories here. We're going to keep going all night long. Quizás tenemos que hacer un maratón de alguna forma, maybe 2 horas corrido, pero que I know you got your show to handle, and you know, I'm gonna let you get to it, all right? Pero que nada, thank you for coming along. Like, comment, and share if you see this video, porque es importante, no seas tan apartado de tu gente, ¿viste? Don't be so separated, you know what I'm saying? Olvídate que you're Mexican and Puerto Rican, olvídate de eso. Somos familia, first and foremost. Del mismo raíz, de la misma sangre, first and foremost. Desde Mexican, Puerto Rican, that's all labels, yo. Those are all labels.
You know what I want to add, sir? I want to add this. I want to say that, you know, I keep hearing Mexicans and other, you know, our people talk about, oh, you know, you guys are talking about us who claim to, who know we're Israelites, right? Who know we're Israelites. They're telling us that we're confused, but in their mind of confusion, they're separating us. And we're not coming together because of their ignorance of not understanding. Man, we're here to save our people. That's all you should understand. We're here to save our people. So isn't that more important than anything else? Isn't it more important to save our people than anything else that you have on your agenda? That's what should be important.
If I could add to that, just the fact of the word you guys are confused is the fact that they do not want to join your people. Come together, gather yourself together, O nation not desire, right? Zephaniah 2:1. When you tell us you guys are confused, is really what you're saying is that you don't want to come together with your kind. Because you rather come together with the same people who've been killing us for 400 plus years, man. Hey, yo, this is Spanglish Experience. I'm Xperience, Kazakh Yad. See you on the next one. Shalom.
Shalom, Israel.